Success Secret Part 5 Never Fear Failure. Introduction. Welcome back to Psychology of Success. Before we begin today's powerful lesson, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every week, we share life-changing lessons on success, psychology, self-discipline, and personal growth designed to help you become the strongest version of yourself. If you're serious about achieving your goals and creating a successful future, subscribe now and join our growing community. Now let's begin. Imagine if every successful person in history had quit after their first failure. Imagine if inventors stopped after their first mistake. Imagine if entrepreneurs abandoned their dreams after their first business failed. Imagine if athletes walked away after their first defeat. The world would be very different. The truth is simple. Success and failure are not opposites. Failure is part of success. Yet most people spend their entire lives running from failure. They fear embarrassment. They fear rejection. They fear criticism. They fear making mistakes. As a result, they never take the actions necessary to achieve extraordinary results. Today, we're going to destroy that fear. Because once you understand the true meaning of failure, it loses its power over you. The greatest lie about failure. One of the biggest lies society teaches is that failure means you're not good enough. From a young age, people are rewarded for getting things right and punished for getting things wrong. This creates a dangerous belief. People begin to associate mistakes with personal inadequacy. They start believing that failure is proof of weakness. But failure is not proof of weakness. Failure is proof that you tried. Failure is proof that you stepped outside your comfort zone. Failure is proof that you attempted something difficult. Think about learning how to ride a bicycle. Nobody succeeds immediately. Everyone falls. Everyone struggles. Everyone loses balance. But imagine if a child fell once and concluded, "I guess riding a bicycle isn't for me." That sounds ridiculous. Yet adults do exactly the same thing with their dreams. They experience one setback and immediately assume success isn't possible. This mindset destroys potential. Because every meaningful achievement requires a period of struggle. Failure is not the enemy. Quitting is. The story of Thomas Edison. Let me tell you a story. When Thomas Edison was developing the electric light bulb, he experienced thousands of unsuccessful attempts. Imagine the frustration. Imagine the criticism. Imagine the doubt. Most people would have quit. Most people would have concluded that it couldn't be done. But Edison viewed failure differently. When asked about his repeated setbacks, he reportedly explained that he had not failed. Instead, he had discovered thousands of ways that did not work. Think about that mindset. Every unsuccessful attempt became information. Every mistake became feedback. Every setback became a lesson. That perspective changed everything. Eventually, his persistence transformed the world. Now imagine if he had quit after 10 attempts. Or 20. Or 100. The breakthrough would never have happened. Success often hides behind persistence. The problem is that most people stop searching before they find it. Why successful people think differently? Most people see failure as an ending. Successful people see failure as education. When something doesn't work, they don't ask, "Why am I so unlucky?" Instead, they ask, "What can I learn?" This question changes everything. Because every failure contains valuable information. A failed business teaches lessons about customers, marketing, leadership, and decision-making. A failed relationship teaches lessons about communication and emotional intelligence. A failed goal teaches lessons about preparation and consistency. Every setback contains a hidden lesson. The challenge is being willing to learn from it. The people who grow the fastest are often those who learn the most from failure. The mountain climber story. Imagine a mountain climber standing at the base of a massive mountain. The summit is hidden by clouds. The climb appears impossible. As he begins the journey, he encounters obstacles. He slips. He falls. He takes wrong turns. He becomes exhausted. At several points, he considers quitting. Now imagine another climber. This climber sees the same mountain, faces the same obstacles, experiences the same setbacks, but interprets them differently. Every challenge becomes a lesson. Every mistake becomes experience. Every obstacle becomes preparation. Years later, one climber is still standing at the bottom making excuses. The other is standing at the summit enjoying the view. The difference wasn't talent. The difference wasn't luck. The difference was persistence. One feared failure. The other embraced learning. That difference changed everything. Why fear of failure destroys dreams. Fear of failure creates paralysis. People become so worried about making mistakes that they stop taking action. They wait for certainty. They wait for guarantees. They wait until they feel ready. The problem is that certainty rarely exists. Every successful person acted before they felt fully prepared. Every entrepreneur took risks. Every leader faced uncertainty. Every achiever moved forward despite fear. Waiting for perfect conditions is often another form of procrastination. Success belongs to people who are willing to act imperfectly. Not recklessly, but courageously. Because courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is taking action despite fear. The arrow principle. There is a powerful lesson hidden in archery. Before an arrow can move forward, it must first be pulled backward. To an observer, it appears to be moving in the wrong direction. But that backward movement creates the force needed to move forward. Life works the same way. Sometimes setbacks are actually preparation. Sometimes rejection redirects you towards something better. Sometimes failure develops skills that success never could. Many of the setbacks that seem devastating today may eventually become the reason for your future success. But you'll never know if you quit too soon. Transition to next section. In the next section of Part 5, we'll explore the story of Colonel Sanders and KFC. Why rejection creates resilience. The failure formula used by successful people. The Chinese bamboo tree story. How to recover after major setbacks. The 30-day failure challenge. The most important lesson successful people learn from losing. And remember, failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the training ground where success is built. The story of Colonel Sanders, success after 1,000 rejections. When people think about success, they often imagine someone who achieved greatness at a young age. But one of the most inspiring success stories in history proves that success can arrive after countless failures. The story begins with a man named Colonel Sanders. Before becoming successful, Sanders experienced setback after setback. He worked many different jobs. He struggled financially. He faced rejection repeatedly. At one point, he was living on a small government check and wondering what to do with his life. Many people would have accepted defeat. Many people would have convinced themselves that it was too late. But Sanders believed he still had something valuable to offer. He had a chicken recipe. A recipe he believed people would love. So he began traveling from restaurant to restaurant, asking owners if they would be interested in using his recipe. Most said no. Then another no. Then another. And another. The rejections continued. Hundreds of times. Some stories suggest he heard no more than 1,000 times before finally finding someone willing to say yes. Think about that. Most people quit after 10 rejections. Some quit after 5. Many never even start because they fear hearing no. Yet Sanders kept going. Not because it was easy. Not because he enjoyed rejection. But because he refused to let rejection decide his future. Eventually, his persistence paid off. That small recipe became what the world now knows as KFC. His success did not come because he avoided failure. His success came because he survived failure. This is an important lesson. Every successful person has heard no. The difference is that successful people keep moving until they hear yes. Rejection is not the end. Many people fear rejection because they interpret it personally. Someone rejects an idea. Someone rejects an application. Someone rejects a proposal. Someone rejects a dream. Immediately, they begin questioning themselves. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not talented enough. Maybe I'll never succeed. But rejection rarely means what people think it means. Sometimes it simply means, not now. Not here. Not this way. Successful people understand that rejection is information. It is feedback. It is redirection. It is not a final judgment on your potential. Imagine if every successful author stopped after receiving one rejection letter. Many best-selling books would never exist. Imagine if every athlete quit after losing one competition. Many champions would never be crowned. Imagine if every entrepreneur stopped after one failed attempt. Entire industries would never have been created. Rejection is part of the process. The question is not whether you will experience rejection. The question is how you will respond to it. The failure formula. Most people have a formula for failure. It looks like this: try, fail, quit. Successful people use a different formula: try, fail, learn, improve, try again. This simple difference changes everything. Failure without learning is wasted experience. Failure with learning becomes growth. Every setback contains lessons. The challenge is taking the time to find them. Whenever something doesn't go according to plan, ask yourself, what worked? What didn't work? What can I improve next time? How can I become stronger because of this experience? These questions transform failure into education. And education creates future success. The Chinese bamboo tree story. There is another powerful lesson hidden in nature. The Chinese bamboo tree is famous for its unusual growth pattern. When planted, nothing appears above the ground for years. The farmer waters it, protects it, nurtures it. Still nothing. 1 year passes. Nothing. 2 years pass. Nothing. 3 years pass. Nothing. 4 years pass. Still nothing visible. Most people would quit. Most people would conclude that the effort was pointless. But the farmer who understands bamboo continues working. Then something remarkable happens. During the 5th year, the tree can grow more than 80 feet in a very short period. The question is, did the bamboo grow in a few weeks? Or did it spend years developing the foundation necessary for growth? The answer is obvious. The growth was happening all along. It simply wasn't visible. Your life often works the same way. You may be studying, learning, practicing, growing, improving, and yet the results seem invisible. Do not become discouraged. Many breakthroughs are being prepared long before they appear. Keep building. Keep learning. Keep improving. The roots are growing even when the results cannot yet be seen. Why failure creates strength. Imagine 2 people. The first person has never experienced difficulty. Everything comes easily. Every obstacle is removed. Every challenge is avoided. The second person experiences setbacks, struggles, failures, disappointments. At first glance, the first person appears fortunate. But over time, something interesting happens. The second person develops resilience, patience, problem-solving skills, adaptability, mental toughness, the very qualities needed for long-term success. Difficulty often develops strengths that comfort never can. This does not mean we should seek failure. It means we should not fear it. Because many of the qualities that create success are forged through adversity. Pressure creates growth. Challenges create strength. Setbacks create wisdom. And wisdom creates success. A powerful question. Whenever you experience failure, ask yourself one question. What is this trying to teach me? Not, why is this happening to me? Not, why am I so unlucky? Instead, what can I learn from this? This question shifts your focus from victimhood to growth. And growth is where success begins. Transition to the next section. In the next section, we'll explore how successful people recover after major setbacks, the Eagle story and personal transformation, the 30-day failure challenge, why perfectionism destroys dreams, the hidden gift inside every setback. The final lesson that can completely change how you view failure forever. And remember, every master was once a beginner. Every expert was once inexperienced. Every success story includes failure. The people who win are not those who never fail. They are those who never stop learning. How successful people recover after major setbacks. One of the biggest misconceptions about successful people is that they rarely fail. The truth is often the opposite. Successful people experience setbacks just like everyone else. They lose opportunities. They make mistakes. They face rejection. They encounter unexpected problems. The difference is not that they avoid failure. The difference is that they recover faster. When most people experience a major setback, they allow it to define them. A failed business becomes proof they are not meant to be entrepreneurs. A rejection becomes proof they are not good enough. A mistake becomes proof they lack talent. Successful people refuse to make this mistake. They separate the event from their identity. A setback is something that happened. It is not who they are. This distinction is powerful. If you fail at something, you are not a failure. If a plan fails, you can create a new plan. If a strategy fails, you can develop a better strategy. Your mistakes are experiences. They are not your identity. The moment you understand this, failure loses much of its power. The story of the eagle. There is a popular story about an eagle that faces a difficult period of transformation. As the story goes, the eagle reaches a stage where survival requires change. Remaining the same would lead to decline. Growth requires discomfort. Transformation requires effort. Whether every detail of the story is scientifically accurate is less important than the lesson it teaches. The lesson is this: growth often requires letting go of old habits, old beliefs, and old limitations. Many people want success without change. They want different results while continuing the same behaviors. But improvement demands transformation. The person you are today has brought you to your current results. The person you become tomorrow will determine your future results. When setbacks occur, successful people use them as opportunities to evolve. They ask, what habits need to change? What skills need improvement? What beliefs are holding me back? These questions create transformation. And transformation creates success. Why perfectionism destroys dreams. Many people believe perfectionism is a strength. In reality, perfectionism often becomes a hidden form of fear. Think about it. How many people delay starting because they want everything to be perfect? How many business ideas never launch because the creator keeps waiting for the perfect moment? How many books are never written because the author wants every page to be flawless? How many YouTube channels are never started because the creator fears criticism? Perfectionism sounds productive. But often it is simply fear wearing a disguise. Successful people understand something important. Done is often better than perfect. Progress beats perfection. Action beats hesitation. Improvement beats waiting. The first version of anything is rarely perfect. The first speech. The first video. The first business. The first attempt. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. Every successful person improves through repetition, not through endless preparation. The 30-day failure challenge. Imagine how your life would change if you stopped fearing failure. Here's a challenge. For the next 30 days, deliberately do something that stretches your comfort zone. Not something reckless. Something challenging. Apply for an opportunity. Learn a new skill. Start a project. Create content. Speak in public. Take action toward a meaningful goal. The objective is not to avoid failure. The objective is to build courage. Because courage grows through use. The more often you face fear, the weaker fear becomes. The more often you take action despite uncertainty, the stronger your confidence becomes. Many people believe confidence comes first. In reality, confidence is usually the result of repeated action. Every courageous action sends a message to your mind. I can handle challenges. Over time, that message becomes belief. And belief becomes confidence. The gift hidden inside every failure. Every failure contains a gift. Unfortunately, the gift is usually hidden. That is why most people never find it. Sometimes the gift is knowledge. Sometimes it is experience. Sometimes it is resilience. Sometimes it is wisdom. Sometimes it is redirection. Think about moments in your life that felt disappointing at the time. A missed opportunity. A rejection. A setback. Years later, many people discover that those experiences led them somewhere better. The setback became preparation. The rejection became protection. The obstacle became a lesson. Life often makes sense looking backward. But only if you keep moving forward. If you quit too early, you never discover the hidden purpose behind the struggle. The difference between winners and quitters. People often ask what separates winners from quitters. The answer is surprisingly simple. Winners keep going. That does not mean they never feel discouraged. It does not mean they never experience doubt. It does not mean they never fail. It means they refuse to let temporary setbacks become permanent decisions. Most people are closer to success than they realize. But they stop too soon. They quit one chapter before the breakthrough. They abandon the dream just before the opportunity appears. They surrender just before the harvest arrives. Persistence is powerful because success often requires more patience than people expect. The ability to continue when others quit is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Imagine your future self. Take a moment and imagine yourself 5 years from now. Imagine the person you could become if you refuse to let failure stop you. Imagine the skills you could develop. The confidence you could build. The opportunities you could create. The goals you could achieve. Now imagine allowing fear of failure to control your decisions. Imagine all the opportunities that would remain unexplored. All the dreams left unfinished. All the potential left unrealized. The difference between those futures is not talent. It is action. One future belongs to the person who keeps trying. The other belongs to the person who gives up. The choice is yours. Preparing for the final lesson. As we move toward the conclusion of this success secret, remember this. Failure is not your enemy. Fear of failure is. Failure teaches. Failure strengthens. Failure prepares. Failure develops the qualities required for long-term success. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not people who never fail. They are people who never allow failure to have the final word. And in the final section, we'll bring everything together with the most important lesson of all. Why your greatest setback may eventually become the foundation of your greatest success. The greatest setback often becomes the greatest comeback. There is a truth about success that many people do not discover until much later in life. The experiences that seem most painful in the moment often become the experiences that shape us the most. Think about it. The strongest people are not usually those who have lived the easiest lives. They are often the people who have faced difficulties, endured setbacks, survived failures, and refused to give up. Why? Because challenges force growth. Pressure creates strength. Adversity develops character. And character creates success. Imagine a blacksmith forging a sword. The metal is placed into intense heat. Then it is hammered repeatedly. Again and again. To an observer, the process looks harsh. But the blacksmith understands something important. Without the fire, the metal remains weak. Without the pressure, the sword never develops strength. Human beings are often shaped the same way. The difficulties you face today may be preparing you for responsibilities you cannot yet see. The setbacks you experience today may be developing qualities you will need tomorrow. The failures that discourage you today may eventually become the reason for your future success. Many successful people have shared a similar realization. When they looked back on their journey, they discovered that their greatest struggles had taught them their most valuable lessons. The failures they once hated became experiences they appreciated. Not because the pain was enjoyable, but because the growth was worth it. The story of the two seeds. There is a simple story about two seeds lying side by side in fertile soil. The first seed looked at the world and said, "I want to grow. I want to reach toward the sunlight. I want to become everything I am capable of becoming. So the seed pushed roots into the ground. It pushed through the darkness. It struggled against resistance. Eventually, it broke through the surface and began growing. The second seed thought differently. It was afraid. Afraid of the unknown. Afraid of failure. Afraid of what might happen if it tried. So it waited. And waited. And waited. It never took the risk. It never pushed through the soil. It never grew. The lesson is simple. Growth always requires risk. Success always requires action. Potential means nothing without execution. Many people spend their lives protecting themselves from failure. As a result, they also protect themselves from success. Do not become the second seed. Choose growth. Choose action. Choose courage. The lesson most people learn too late. One day, every person reaches a point where they look back on their life. Some people feel pride. Others feel regret. One of the most common regrets people express is not failing. It is not trying. People rarely regret taking courageous action. They regret the opportunities they never pursued, the dreams they abandoned, the risks they avoided, the conversations they never had, the goals they never chased. Fear convinces people that avoiding failure will protect them. But often it creates a different kind of pain. The pain of wondering, what if I had tried? What if I had believed in myself? What if I had kept going? Those questions can last a lifetime. That is why courage matters. Not because success is guaranteed, but because action eliminates regret. The success equation. Let's simplify everything we've learned today. Failure plus learning equals growth. Growth plus persistence equals improvement. Improvement plus time equals success. Most people stop after the first step. They experience failure and quit. Successful people continue the equation. They learn. They improve. They persist. And eventually, success appears. Not overnight. Not instantly. But inevitably. Because growth compounds. Just like money compounds. Just like habits compound. Just like time compounds. The effort you make today may seem small. But repeated consistently over months and years, those efforts become extraordinary. Never underestimate the power of persistence. A message to the person who feels like quitting. Perhaps you're watching this video during a difficult season of your life. Maybe you've experienced setbacks. Maybe things have not gone according to plan. Maybe you're questioning whether success is possible for you. If that's you, listen carefully. Your current situation is not your final destination. Your mistakes do not define you. Your failures do not define you. Your setbacks do not define you. The only thing that can permanently stop you is the decision to quit. As long as you continue learning, as long as you continue improving, as long as you continue moving forward, the story is not over. One chapter does not determine the ending, and one failure does not determine your future. Keep going. Keep learning. Keep growing. Keep believing. The breakthrough may be closer than you think. Final thoughts. As we conclude Success Secret Part 5, remember these powerful lessons. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Rejection is not the end. It is often redirection. Setbacks are not punishments. They are opportunities for growth. Perfection is not required. Progress is. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not those who avoid failure. They are those who refuse to let failure stop them. Every successful person has a story filled with mistakes, setbacks, disappointments, and obstacles. The difference is that they continued. And you can too. Subscribe. Call to action. If this lesson inspired you, make sure you subscribe to Psychology of Success and turn on notifications. Every week, we share powerful lessons on success, mindset, discipline, psychology, and personal growth designed to help you become the best version of yourself. Like this video. Share it with someone who needs encouragement. And comment below. What is one failure that taught you an important lesson? Your story may inspire someone else. Signature closing. Remember, success is not reserved for the lucky. It is earned by those who keep moving forward. Thank you for watching Psychology of Success. If this video brought you value, subscribe, like, and share it with someone who is committed to growth. Remember, success is not something you find, it's something you build, one decision at a time. Because the future belongs to those who take action today. Master your mind. Transform your life. I'll see you in the next lesson. And I'll see you in part 6.